A few hours ago, the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation officially announced that on the night of January 12, the Russian Aerospace Forces, together with the missile forces, launched a combined missile attack on the infrastructure of enemy military airfields in 139 districts of Ukraine. At the same time, representatives of the Russian Defense Ministry added that all the intended targets were successfully hit and destroyed. Commenting on this missile attack, independent monitoring services confirmed that on the night of January 12, about 30 powerful explosions were recorded on the territory of military airfields in the central and western parts of Ukraine. My dear truth seekers, I want to highlight that following the loss of several F-16 fighter jets to Russian missile strikes, the Ukrainian General Staff, alongside their NATO military advisors, chose to utilize airfields in Romania and Poland for the deployment of these limited American fighters. At the same time, NATO and the Ukrainian military used the air harbors on Ukraine's territory only as so-called jump airfields, where American fighter jets are refueled and rearmed before combat sorties. As it turned out, on the night of January 12, the Russian Aerospace Forces and missile forces attacked precisely these so-called jump airfields on the territory of Ukraine. As it turned out at the time of this missile attack, the Ukrainian army and NATO forces were preparing to launch an airstrike on the Crimean Peninsula, using F-16 fighter jets, armed with Storm Shadow cruise missiles. However, thanks to Russian intelligence and the professional actions of the Russian Aerospace Forces and missile forces, Moscow's enemies failed to do this. On the night of January 12, dozens of Russian ballistic and cruise missiles, together with kamikaze drones, rained down on enemy military airfields. As a result, NATO forces and the Ukrainian army were not only forced to abandon the launch of airstrike on the Crimean Peninsula, but also suffered significant losses in manpower and equipment. Against this backdrop, I would like to highlight the military airfield in Martinovka, Nikolaev region. As it turned out, on the night of January 12, the highest number of explosions were recorded on the territory of this airfield. Later, representatives of the Russian underground in Ukraine confirmed that 10 Ukrainian soldiers, along with 2 U.S. Air Force officers, were killed during this missile attack. It is reported that deceased U.S. Air Force officers were responsible for the maintenance of American fighter jets before their combat flights. Moreover, according to them, Russian missiles also critically damaged one F-16 fighter jet, which was preparing to perform a bombing sortie at the time of this missile attack. Let me remind you that this is far from the first case of the destruction of American F-16 fighter jets on the territory of the so-called jump airfields. So, in early September last year, an authoritative Ukrainian journalist Anatoly Sherii stated that 4 American F-16 fighter jets were destroyed during a Russian missile attack on the Starokostiantynov airfield. In total, according to preliminary data, since July last year, Ukraine has lost 10 units of F-16 fighter jets, including 3 experienced pilots.